We might choose to go harder here, but realistically, if we hit minus 1% win rate on Yorick, this puts his Emerald plus win rate below 50%.
We might go harder? What do you mean? What did you say?
Deal 20% bonus damage. We might choose to go harder here, but realistically...
Hey, rat bags, remember to like and subscribe to the video. Now get out of here. I'm, like, you guys know something? Like, this is my honest opinion with the Yorick, like, philosophy and ideas and whatnot. I'll talk about it when I'm in queue, right? Actually, I'll just talk about it now. I'm just disappointed with the way Riot's treating Yorick. I'm just disappointed. I feel like Riot, like, the point of League is, like, for the freedom of being able to build whatever you want. And, like, I feel like the new season has done a really good job of that, right? Now that, like, you have so many diverse items, you're not limited to a mythic. And now with, like, the new kind of changes they're trying to make. Oh, we don't actually want lethality Yorick to be a thing. And it's just like, okay. That's just like, why? It completely ruins the power fantasy of Yorick as well. Like, the thing is, the only way I can see Riot doing like an actual thing with Yorick where it's like actually, okay, this makes sense, is if they completely make it so that he just becomes a shit bastard version in the theory, which still completely ruins his identity as like a necromancer. I think his role as like a mage necromancer with lethality Yorick is perfectly like, it's a cool games like style and idea, right? But they just don't want it because it's like too uninteractive, which is weird. It's weird because it's like, I don't know. I don't understand why they like even doing those changes. I'm gonna be real.
Yorick is getting a set of changes and a set of nerfs. So first off are just some tweaks to how Maiden works, because basically for gameplay clarity and working the way it should. So Maiden is currently the squishiest permanent minion by a lot. And by permanent minion, I mean things like Daisy and Tibbers, where they last for a very, very long time and they're functionally permanent. Obviously, they actually have durations, but like they're not meant to die soon in a fight in the way that like Malzahar Voidlings will, or Heimer's ulti turret has a
what did he say?
Functionally permanent. Obviously, they actually have durations, but like they're not meant to die soon in a fight in the way that like Malzahar Voidlings will, or Heimer's ulti turret has a very, very fixed duration that is meant to time out. Right, Maiden and Tibbers and Daisy are not really meant to time out in the course of the fight.
My straw, guys.
So those things are quite durable. Maiden is less durable by a meaningful margin than Tibbers and Daisy against most damage. Unless it's AoE damage. If the damage is tagged AoE, aka you're playing Aatrox, your damage is cut by half, because Maiden inherits the AoE damage reduction that his ghouls have, which makes them arguably appropriately tanky as ghouls. But Maiden is ranged, and thus isn't subjected to Crowstorm, and isn't subjected to like random anti-W, isn't subjected to like Zac Ultimate, isn't subjected to a lot of the random AoE damage that is reasonable for melee minions like ghouls and voidlings, or maybe even theoretically Heimer turrets, though Heimer turrets again are also ranged. So probably not those, they probably wouldn't deserve one. Regardless, that shape seems clearly wrong. If Yorick is going to go 1v1 you, the idea of maybe sometimes I fight Maiden is not meant to be, oh, does my champion have the ability to literally damage this thing? It's meant to be, should I fight Maiden or not? Did he leave it alone or whatever else? And so no longer is Maiden taking half damage from AoE. But as compensation, she's getting much, much, much more armor and MR to the point where she's now going to be tankier in any generic fighter build, unless you're building full lethality. If you're building lethality, she's going to be pretty much identical to Daisy and Tibbers, but if you're building health, she's going to be better than Daisy and Tibbers. So against Jax, against a marksman auto-attacking, against any single target damage, this is like a 30% effective health increase at most points in time, which is a very, very big deal.
Pretty good.
But against, you know, Aatrox Qs or other forms of AoE damage is going to be about a 30% reduction in effective health against those things. But again, the shape of this makes total sense and is meant to be pretty reasonable. This probably ends up being a light amount of power positive. If I had to guess, Maiden is probably taking more single target damage than AoE damage, just sort of full stop, but whatever, that's fine. We can always retune as needed down the line. Also a bug fix. Specifically, Yorick's
I kind of like that. They said that, oh, we can always tune it later down the line. That's a good thing to hear, because I actually think these buffs are in the, like, I think these Maiden buffs are a buff for Maiden full stop. They're, in my mind, they're in no way like bad. There's a few interactions that make Maiden in laning phase really, really shit and like needlessly squishy. So against Jax, he just Qs onto a thing, presses the E, and fucking kills him for HP. The armor and MR is gonna help with that. Fiora doing the same thing, Sharon in the mid doing the same thing, helps it out as well. You fuck up like a Maiden aggro on the tower, like manipulating it, this will help as well, right? And the AE reduction doesn't matter that much.
Like and subscribe or
The
I'll
only
die.
thing I think this thing might suck though in the way that the AE reduction is actually kind of big in the mid to late game, where you're against champions like who was it, Syndra, or like mages, right? Who build pen and they're just gonna fucking shred its ass. Yeah, it hurts like mid, like mages and stuff like that.
Mark triggering was bypassing Shen W. That has been bug fixed here, but all the other parts of Maiden's auto attacks work fine. The League Wiki is out of date in this case, where it says that Maiden doesn't respect blind. It's actually not true. Teemo hard counters Maiden because he gets the extended minion blind duration against Maiden, and so the Teemo blind is.
Teemo hard counters Maiden. Guys, watch out for the Teemo matchup. He's gonna fucking blind the Maiden.
The duration of the cooldown. Teemo can permablind Maiden, by the way. I'm not saying it's actually a good counter. I'm pretty sure Teemo gets just hard fucked by Yorick E, but she's really good against Maiden, or he's really good against Maiden. Anyway, regardless, all the other rules around Maiden respect the dodge and blind respectfully. Okay.
Thank you, Phreak.
There is still meant to be, though, a nerf to Yorick itself, and this is the bonus damage on E. This is the ghouls. The next 8 attacks deal 30% bonus damage. This will be the next 8 attacks deal 20% bonus damage. We might choose to go harder here, but realistically, if we hit minus 1% win rate on Yorick, this puts his Emerald plus win rate below 50%.
We might go harder? What do you mean? What did you say?
Deal 20% bonus damage. We might choose to go harder here, but realistically...
What the fuck? What do you guys mean? You're taking 10% away. What do you mean you might choose to go harder? What? Are we just gonna remove it completely at this point? What the fuck?
If we hit minus 1% win rate on Yorick, this puts his Emerald plus win rate below 50%, which to me is fine. He's low elo skewed. That's just the case here. But one thing I do also want to bring up is some possible future plans for Yorick. I think right now Yorick is not incentivized to be in melee range, and it's why his builds are very, very lethality. And so I think there are some moderately high scope but relatively easy to do changes to reinforce Yorick as a primary juggernaut who is fighting alongside his ghouls, not just sending them at you like a, lethality mage. Not suggesting 0.5 here, obviously, not suggesting 0.6 here, but, as early as 0.7, maybe, that's still maybe optimistic, but some future plans possible for Yorick here to re-up his bruiser fighter juggernaut playstyle. Final champion.
So right now it's what patch is it right now? It's patch 14.4. So they're planning like patch 14.8-ish. That'll be in like 8 weeks. I wonder what, okay. So I think that, I don't know how much Phreak thinks about his wording. There's been a lot of controversy over the way he says stuff. But it does bring me a bit of ease that he's saying reinforcing rather than like, we're gonna fucking kill lethality, right? It's like, they're trying to push Yorick to build bruisery, which I think is good. I think that bruiser Yorick is a little weaker side of things. I think it's really easy to make bruiser Yorick good though. You can just like, give fucking Yorick Q health scaling or some shit and whatnot, I'm kind of scared though that they said we might go harder on the You're already cutting 10%. What do you mean you might go harder? Hello? Dude, last year when they cut 10% of E, I was on fucking suicide watch. If they cut it to like 15, I might actually just die. That's very scary.